So let's get started. First, I'm Zane, as you heard. So my job at Microsoft, I think it's good to share. I run the Azure efforts for Microsoft. So think about all our platform of Azure, which is a public cloud effort, from Windows to Azure, which is part of the same division, to SQL Azure, which is database as a service, to Data Market, which we're going to discuss today, which is more about data as a service itself, and middleware Azure, which is Windows App Fabric Azure. Right, so all of that is a platform we bring to the cloud, and that lives under my purview. So today we're going to focus on Data Market, our Windows Azure Data Market, which is our data as a service offering in the market. And if you think about the strategy for Data Market, it is democratizing data. But this doesn't mean make data available for free. This doesn't mean make data available for a price. This doesn't mean put data up there and good luck. It means having data available to anybody who wants to purchase data, who wants to use data, free or not free, as a offering so they can run their own analytics too, or use it for whatever internal or external purposes. But make sure that it's done in an organized way, and I'm going to share that with you. So with Data Market, it basically is a one-stop data shop. All sorts of data can live in that data market, everything from statistics on crime to weather patterns, to any large, big data, small data, medium data that may be out there, which has use for a user. Think about the complexity that a developer has today. And I'll talk about providers also. To get any data, they have to first find data on the internet. Then they have to find out if that data is a proprietary one. Where do I go and purchase that data? Then I have to go negotiate the cost of that data. Then I have to go approach the company, sign legal documents. By that time, I'm pretty old, and the data is outdated, and there's nothing to use. What if all of that could be a one-click stop shop? What if the pricing was just like going into a retail store and buying for data, so you don't have to negotiate? That's where Data Market comes in. It's a one-stop shop for data, and all kinds of data, and I'll go through that one. The data is unified and discoverable. If you look at it, I mean, again, the beauty of internet is everything is accessible to us. The beauty of big data and a lot of data is there's a lot of data. But it doesn't mean all that data is good data. You heard from presenters that, hey, some of them have to be cleaned up or curated. The data has to be cleaned up. So within Microsoft, with Data Market, we work with the providers of data to work with them to curate and clean up the data and then put it up on our Data Market for consumption. So the data has to be clean, has to be searchable. So here the example is you type weather and all kinds of weather pattern and data is available. As a developer, you look at the data and you purchase the data. What does it provide to the provider of data? It provides a marketplace for them to put the data up there so it can be shared with the multitudes of developers across the world. Right? Whether it is a premium data where it's charged or it's a free data, it provides a location for them to share data with developers and users. So that makes it searchable, unified, discoverable data. If you go further down, you can visualize the data before purchasing. Because we don't want the users to purchase data thinking it's something, but once they get the data onto their systems, it looks differently. So you can actually go and preview the data and visualize what does it look like. Here we have the data with the maps, but you have all different kinds of data here. Right? So you have weather patterns on the right-hand side, mapping in the middle. So all kinds of visualization is there. So as a developer or as a knowledge worker, you can see what you're getting. And then you subscribe. Now, this sounds very easy to go click and subscribe, but the power behind this is you know what you buy. First, you're able to search. You're able to see what you're buying. And you know the pricing, whether it's free or not free, with different tiered data set that you're purchasing. You don't need lawyers. You don't need to go negotiate pricing. You don't need to go approach the owners of the data. It's right there. That means once you find data, within minutes you can use that data in real time, and you can refresh that data. So if it's a dynamic data, it can be refreshed. All you do is come up and get the latest data information. Now, it can be used for mundane things like, hey, in my mashup website, publishing traffic information, or to weather patterns and then running analysis services against that, business intelligence to see how is the weather going to evolve in the future, or ticketing pricing, or stock pricing. So you can get very creative once the data set is there. And we believe this is going to not only invigorate the usage of data, but actually innovation. Because when data is there, developers and companies tend to do and make richer decisions, and this will enable that richness to happen. Now, how is this data shared? Well, it's on the market, but we want it to be democratized. That, like I said, it doesn't mean just putting it up there and making it available. This also means, how do I access data? We want the data to be accessed from any device, anywhere. So it's all wrapped in OData APIs. So with you can make an OData call from any device and get that data, whether it's your handheld device, it's your desktop, it's any device that can make the call. That's democratization. So I have access to data, and I can use that data for anything. So there's consistent API calls. There's consistency with OData API, which can be utilized. In addition to making it available, we at Microsoft are integrating this into widely used tools like Excel. Most everybody uses Excel in the world. The add-ins for data market are in Excel, and I'm sharing that right here, and Power Pivot. Again, when customers and developers and companies download this data, they download a lot of data. Then they want to run intelligence against it. When they use BI tools, or they use Power Pivot, for example, I'll use Power Pivot as an example, they can then use Power Pivot, Excel, and all to run analysis against the data. By ensuring that it's part of it, by ensuring it as an add-on to Excel, we make it very easy for folks to download this from the everyday tools. So it's not another specialized step or learning that needs to be done. The same thing goes for CRM Online. Last week, we announced the integration with our CRM Online efforts, and you can see how robust it's going to look as a user. Now, all of this, like I said, looks easy till it's done. And by us going through the efforts of putting it with integrating with Excel, integrating with CRM Online, Power Pivot, it makes it easy. It'll make it usable. And I'll share some momentum with you in a few seconds. But this is not about Microsoft. It's also about our partners. So we have partners who are integrating all of these add-ons and add-ins into their own tools, Tableau being one of them as an example. Esri is another one, Dundas, Jagby. It's integrated into their tools. So from Tableau, you can come into Data Market, get the data in, or from Data Market on our side, you can say, click, and it goes and integrates within the Tableau systems. So it's going through not just Microsoft, but any tool you bring in. It is truly democratization of data. So who's using it? I mean, we've been in this business 90 days, which in the cloud world seems like an eternity nowadays. So 5,000 plus subscriptions with 3 million transactions are already in place, and we're just coming into the market. So by integrating it into the everyday tools, we're seeing the usage go up. We're seeing innovation happen. And we expect this momentum to actually grow as the word gets out and as the downloads happen. I'll share with you some of the videos about how our partners are utilizing and feel about this effort.
Dun & Bradstreet is the world's leading source of business information on over 170 million businesses across the world, providing business insight ranging from supplier and credit risk decisioning to professional research and sales and marketing information. Windows Azure Marketplace makes it easy to access D&B information through one single point of access and integrate and embed within their applications.
The type of data Wolfram Alpha provides is incredibly broad. It's everything from being able to do calculus to sports scores. By using Windows Azure Marketplace XL add-in and taking numbers like the population growth of a city, you can lay in your sales forecast for that city and understand how realistic they are against real-world data that we have in Wolfram Alpha. This type of capability of taking data from a data mart, adding it into Excel, and then calculating against it is something revolutionary.
Stats has been in the business for over 30 years. We're the leading sports information provider in the world.
Stats does not work directly with consumers today, so having Azure as that conduit to directly go to a consumer-facing audience will allow us to expand upon Stats' presence.
Visra is a business which focuses on mapping and GIS software. Our customers are in government and in education and in private sector. What Azure provides for us is a place where we can host our own data, and customers will be able to have higher reliability in accessing our data.
Dundas Data Visualization's focus is in the delivery of dashboard solutions for any number of verticals. Essentially, business metrics, and all metrics for that matter, are completely meaningless without adequate context. So what the marketplace is going to allow us to do is to bring in the data that we need to really enrich the dashboards, to give them much more meaningful context and paint a full picture rather than the enterprise-only picture that we tend to see right now.
The nice thing about Tableau's integration with the Windows Azure Marketplace is that users can just browse for data, be it public or private, and then once they found something they were interested in, all they have to do is click a link and they can have this really engaging experience with this public data.
So I know we shared some of the partners. I wanted to make sure we give credit to all the partners, both from our public domain, which is free data, and also the premium data, which is out there for a price. But all of that is set up at Data Market. The core, the wrap, if I was thinking about this, it's the following. There's a lot of data out there, a lot of data. I think in the last 10 years, I see more data every day than I've seen in years past. Well, but that doesn't mean all data is good. To have a place where there can be good, clean data, both premium and non-premium, that can be used by businesses and developers to make intelligent business decisions, that's what's been missing out there. To get a central place where all that transaction of data can happen, I think will start innovation or ignite innovation and better decision-making for us, whether it be for commercial or non-commercial reasons. And that's the goal of Data Marketplace. Now, to get more involved or to understand more, there are booths here, and there are some sessions on Data Market. I encourage you to go check those out, ours and our partners. And least of all, go on the website and go look at the data and see the richness of the data and how you can utilize that. Thank you.
Thanks.